This is an Eye on Annapolis bonus podcast.
You know, I always say that the best shows at Ram's Head on Stage likely come from artists who are not household names yet. And today we have one of them joining us on the phone, Jamie McLean. Welcome. How are you?
Thanks so much. I'm doing well. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Good. Well, you are coming with your band, the Jamie McLean Band, to Ram's Head on Stage on August 30th. That's a Friday night for a single show at 8 p.m. And tickets are on sale now at ramsheadonstage.com. But I got to say, I've been listening to you all morning, and I can't personally wait to see the show at Ram's Head. Tickets are still available. You know, from covers to originals, I mean, your music takes me, at least, beyond my tapping my toes phase and makes me want to get up and dance, which nobody really wants to see, but that's neither here nor there. But
nice.
You've got an incredible range of music, and it is guaranteed to be a fun night on August 30th. That's for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I always say the goal for me is to get the crowd up and dancing, and that happens 99% of the time. So, yeah, the band is a lot of fun. You know, we've got great quality players. There's great vocals and harmonies, and like you said, song choice. A lot of originals, but we've done some cover albums, and it's just, we're there to have a good time. And, I lived in New Orleans for a little while, and that lifestyle is all about letting the good times roll. So trying to bring that wherever I go.
Well, I'll tell you, you describe your music, and I'm sitting here trying to figure it out. I mean, I thought it was a very tough call. I mean, there's a heavy New Orleans influence in it, but there's an edge mixed in there too. So, you've got Americana, you've got roots and everything else. And it's hard to pigeonhole you, which I guess is a good thing.
Yeah. People always say, what kind of music do you play? And I have a hard time pinpointing that myself. And that's really just because I enjoy a lot of different styles of music. I think at its core, the band is rock and roll. And, there's obviously New Orleans and blues and roots in there. And I try to bring a little bit of everything that I enjoy to the stage. And I think it's good. A lot of times people come and they'll say, well, in the first 5 or 6 songs, I heard a blues. I heard something that sounded a little Americana. I heard rock and roll and New Orleans. And those are all true. So I'm glad you're picking up on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll tell you, you are touring in support of a yet to be released album. Actually, it's releasing, I guess, sometime in October, but One Step Forward. So we haven't heard anything about that yet. But you've got one that's out, Paradise Found, which has been out for about 2 years now.
Yep.
So this is going to be exciting. So, I mean, are we going to be hearing some of the new stuff from One Step Forward come August 30th?
Absolutely. Yeah, we are literally in the coming days going to be putting out a ton of information about this new record that we are really stoked about. One Step Forward. It releases in full in October, but the first single, which is called The Summer of Who Knows When, releases August 23rd. So we'll definitely be playing that song along with a bunch of others at the Ram's Head show in Annapolis, and then digging into some of the cover stuff. And we've got a pretty deep catalog, so it's going to be a little bit of everything. And we've got Jonathan Sloan, who's a great guitarist, Maryland, DC based, and has toured with Anders Osborne, many other bands, opening up the show, and he usually gets up and jams with us, which keeps it really fun.
You mentioned that you do some covers and stuff like that. And some of the covers that you've done, a lot of bands will just do a cover and it's hard to describe. It's just a cover, but you guys put your own spin to it. It's got a different song, but it's yet so familiar. This sounds weird, but I mean, you do a cover like nobody else does a cover for some of these songs. I mean, it's definitely unique. It's definitely the Jamie McLean Band, but
Thank you.
It's a familiar song, and I mean, you've really sort of taken the ones that you do, and you just sort of put your own little spin to it, and it's amazing. I think it's going to be a great show on the 30th. Well, your first album came out back in 2010, and that was just your self-titled Jamie McLean Band album, right?
Yes. Yeah, we've been. I sort of say, right now we're it's sort of JMB 2.0, because the last, really before COVID and moving forward after it, we've been putting out a ton of music. There's been a couple of live records, live at the Bitter End in New York City, and writing a lot. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, but it's, I just feel like we've really gained a head of steam, especially with some of these new records.
Did COVID help that?
More than anything, it really reaffirmed how much I love playing live music, because I was able to, write and record a bit. But, after a few weeks, I was really missing the stage. And now I just really don't take the live show for granted. Obviously, I love playing the music and the actual performance, but half of it is really seeing the crowd, the friends and the fans. And, I always come out afterwards and sort of hang around the merchandise table. And really more than half the show for me is getting to catch up with everybody and see what everybody's doing, what everybody's favorite song was from the night. And so that, COVID really kind of reinstilled that for me. And, I don't quite know what the shift has been, but more and more people are coming out and really enjoying the music. I guess hopefully the songwriting's just gotten a lot stronger.
Well, my own thoughts on that were that, we're all starved for getting out and doing things again. And COVID's really screwed with everybody's mind to be able to say, okay, well, yeah, it was that was 4 years ago. Music and just the way our world is right now. You've got world strife over in the Mideast. You've got it over in Russia. We've got it here in America and everything else. And music is really such a great equalizer. And,
yep.
and it resonates. It resonates with Democrats and Republicans and black and white and gay and straight and male and female and, Americans and, Ukrainians and, it resonates and it hits everybody, regardless of whether it's in the language that you speak or not.
Yeah.
And we need more of that.
Yeah, it's something I feel very lucky to be a part of, because I absolutely see that. When we play in New York City a lot, we'll see some fans that come out and they're from Italy, or they're from places where they're not really, English isn't their first language, and they just love the show. And it's cool to see that barrier being broken. And I'll look in the crowd and I'll have a couple groups of friends or fans, and I'll say, all right, these two groups are having a ball, but if we sat down and started talking politics, these guys would get into it right out of the gate. But music is just a great neutralizer, and everybody just wants to boogie and enjoy themselves. And, the messages that I'm singing about in a lot of the songs, it's all positivity and love and, gratitude. So I feel very lucky. And that's why I say, like, the goal for me is always just to have people coming and dancing. Because, like I said, 9 times out of 10, it always ends up as a dance party, which is a beautiful thing.
Right. Well, you obviously you've got a love for live, and I'm presuming that you prefer live over something sitting there in a studio. There are some bands and there are some artists that are born for the studio, but you're not like that. I've listened to your stuff, on Spotify. I've listened to the studio albums and stuff. I've listened to the live stuff, which I love, and you can tell that the crowd is getting behind you. Does that really energize you when you're up there?
Oh, 1,000%. If there's a night where, for whatever reason, the crowd isn't fired up, we're struggling a little bit. One hand really washes the other. And, I'll walk into a room and I'll be like, oh man, these guys are ready to go. And from song number 1, we're fired up. And then, after the show, someone will say, oh my gosh, that's the best we've ever heard you. And I said, well, the crowd was on fire, and, you can't go up there in front of a hot crowd and sort of lay an egg. It's all boats are going to rise when the energy's good in the room. So, yeah, we love recording, and I love writing and all of that, but it really is geared towards the end goal, which is, all right, now we're going to bring these songs out to the shows and to the crowds.
Right.
So yeah, that's what we're most excited about.
Well, back in 2010, did you imagine that, in 14 years, you're going to have 8 albums out and be touring all over the place in some of the best, biggest names in rock and roll and some of the greatest venues in the world?
No, I mean, man, it's always sort of been the goal. I mean, the hope is, there's some longevity and I can do this, full time. And, thinking back on that first record, I mean, we were all kids and just, psyched to be in the recording studio for the first time and, hoping people listen to it and come to the shows. But it's really, I feel very thankful for the fans because it's been a really nice sort of grassroots, gradual build where people have really been with us from the beginning to, for the long haul. And, there's a lot of bands that go straight to the top, have a hit with the song, and you never hear from them again, and the fans kind of move on. And we've sort of been the opposite, just kind of nice, slow, steady, and thankfully the songs keep coming. I'm constantly writing, and to have this much of a catalog at this point, I am very proud of.
What was your plan B? What if that first one? What if that first one was the egg? What if?
I guess that's also some of the driving force because there was never a plan B. Do I have other interests? Of course. Could I have made a living doing something else? Hopefully, and most likely, yes. But the music was always the first love, and it just there was option. Failure wasn't an option. A lot of bands will do it, and it's lean and mean at first, and you're playing for the bartender and a couple of friends, and that's tough. And we've done that, and a lot of people sort of bow out, and I don't blame them. The music business is very difficult, but I guess I was just sort of stubborn and said, all right, you know what? We're going to go back, and hopefully those friends bring some friends, and just kept doing it. And, thankfully, it's been working out.
Started out with that standing O from Mom, and the next time she brought her friend.
I mean, really, there's every band has been there where it's, mom's, the first one to buy the record, and, she brings a couple friends, and there's a bartender, and it's pretty lean and mean. But, like I said, during COVID, not doing that, pretty quickly, I realized, okay, I am less happy. Obviously everyone was, but this is a driving force in my life, and it's something that I need to do. So thankfully there's no plan B, and we're about to hit the road really hard. This entire year is booked with tour dates behind the new record, and we're going to be out there swinging for the fences.
Well, you've played with some greats, and does any of the talent that you have performed with over the past 14 years, do any of them really stand out as just absolutely amazing?
Well, I mean, really all of them. I have been so lucky to have worked with, most of my heroes. It's really, what stands out to me most is they're all A-list talent, right? I mean, these, Dr. John and Aaron Neville and Dave Matthews and Nora Jones. I mean, everybody there, the talent is top, but it's the way that they handle themselves. And, I've worked with famous people that are pleasant enough, but don't go the extra mile, or clearly kind of just doing it to get in and get out. And then, there's guys like I worked with Aaron Neville for a long time, who's, played the White House, and,
amazing.
You name it, he's done it. And he couldn't be a nicer, more humble guy, really, still loving the music. And I really take that wherever I go, because you go into a club and someone's having a bad day and someone's just being a little rude. I just sort of think man, Aaron Neville doesn't need to answer to anybody. He's done it all. And he really always goes the extra mile to be kind. And, Derek Trucks and the Tedeschi Trucks Band, another team that's just so, family oriented, but just so generous. And, there for all the right reasons. So that's my big takeaway from all of these, superstars. And then the music, obviously they're bringing it every night, but I just feel lucky to be rubbing elbows with these guys, and lucky to hear the stories and feel their vibe, but, super lucky to be performing or recording with them. It just kind of reaffirms that this is the place I want to be.
Well, you said most of your heroes you've worked with. Who are some of the ones that you haven't worked with yet? Who's on your bucket list?
I have been asked this question a few times, and for a long time, Prince was on the list. Tom Petty has always been one of my heroes. So unfortunately, some of them are slipping away. Stevie Wonder is still the top of my bucket list. Just talk about virtuoso, the vocals, the keys, the drums, the writing, you name it. So, Stevie would be at the very top. But he's a tough nut to crack these days. He's Stevie Wonder.
Well, I'll tell you, as we start to wrap up again, ramsheadonstage.com for tickets. There are still some available. The show is August 30th. Doors open at 7. The show is at 8. And you also want to check out JamieMcLeanBand.com for all things Jamie, and that's JamieMclean band.com. But before we go, you have a very extensive catalog of music, both originals and covers. But given your love of live shows and live performance, when you step out on that stage, is there one song that just energizes the hell out of you that you just can never get tired of playing?
Oh, gosh. Really, well, one that's been really fun lately is Them Changes, which is the old Buddy Miles. Jimi Hendrix and the Band of Gypsies did it pretty famously. And that lately we've been doing either as an encore or towards the end of the set. And that's just an immediate kick out your chair, get up and start boogieing. It's just sort of universal. People are up and dancing, and it's, guitar centric, a lot of soloing, and that's just like the powerhouse rock and roll song. So honestly, I really just love performing all of it, the original stuff in particular, but Them Changes, when we see that at the end of the set list, it's, it's sort of like the bottom of the ninth, and you need your clutch hitter to come up and hit a home run, and you see their name on the list, and you're like, oh, this is going to work out well. So that one's always a real party.
Fantastic. Well, hopefully we are going to hear that on the 30th when you are here in Annapolis. And Jamie McLean,
indeed.
Thank you so much for your time today. Safe travels down here to Annapolis from New York, and I can't wait to see you on the 30th, man.
Likewise. We can't wait to get to Annapolis. Thank you.
Well, my mind is going through them changes. I feel just like a bit in a crime. Every time you see me going somewhere, it's like I'm going out of my mind. Oh, my baby, she left me the other day, and we were having a lot of fun. I said, knows how I love her so. And that's the reason why she had to run. Oh, yeah. It's alright, what I say. It's alright, what I say. Oh, yeah. Well, my mind been going through so many changes. I feel just like I'm in a crime. Every time you see me going somewhere, it's like I'm going out of my mind. She had me running, she had me hiding, she had me running, hiding. She had me running, she had me hiding, she
This has been a bonus podcast from Ion Annapolis. Please visit us at ionannapolis.net. Follow us on Facebook at All Annapolis and on Twitter at Ion Annapolis. And if you haven't subscribed to the Daily News Brief podcast, go for it. And all of your local news will be delivered to your phone, tablet, or smart device by 6 a.m. every Monday through Friday.